Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm here with Coach Adam.
Hey, guys.
This is Coach Adam here to my left, and this is part 2 of the Olympia Prep Q&A. I've been getting a lot of questions regarding this year's Olympia, how I'm feeling, what I'm doing, all that. So let's answer some today.
Let's do this.
What goes through your head when you're standing on stage? It's so funny because sometimes after I get off stage, I'm like, did I even smile? Or did I do everything right? Because it goes by so fast. But I think what goes through my mind when I'm standing on stage is those little things that I need to think of when I'm posing. So there's so much that goes through my minds, when I'm standing on stage, am I standing tall enough? Is my foot placement right? Is my shoulder right? Are the judges seeing my best angle? You know what I mean? Because there's so many little things to think about. The little things, am I pushing enough in my back pose? Am I looking relaxed enough? So many things. So it's a combination of all of those things. And I try to savor the moment too. And keep that smile on, so.
But when you're up there, though, just to follow up on that, you're genuinely having fun, though.
Yeah, I am. It goes by too fast. It goes by way too fast. Like I said, sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, I hope I smiled. Did I do this? And then I'll ask Adam, oh my God, was it okay? Did I do this? When I did my transition, was my hair off my shoulder? I just all these things go through my mind because it happens in an instant, it seems like. So yeah. That's basically it. How is your digestion? Do you ever have any issues as you get closer to the stage? I will say I think the digestion gets a little slower just because, correct me if I'm wrong, this is my theory, the less food you're eating and the more energy your body's actually taking in, it seems like you have less to give out.
Yeah,
right?
It's just more volume, less volume.
Yeah.
You're going to digest at basically the same, your normal volume rate. So when you have less volume, it's just slower because it's not as much volume. So when you have less to digest, it's going to be a little bit slower at times.
Yes.
And regularity will slow down a little bit too.
Yes.
So.
And my thing is I've found that something that works really well for me is liquid magnesium drops. That seems to really help my digestion. Some people, it's a miracle for them. Some people, they can't feel it at all. But if you're having digestion, you should at least try.
Yeah, the higher protein without any help, in terms of fibers and stuff, from your carbohydrates and whatnot, because it gets lower. That's definitely part of the issue why people run into issues during peak week. So you can supplement it, and usually people are fine with that.
Absolutely. So the next question: what is your biggest win this prep? I think I feel really good about the effort I've been putting in lately. I don't have, of course, some days I'm not 100%. Some days my energy isn't the best. But I think for the most part, I've been putting way more effort in than usual, and not letting excuses get to me, and even doing things that I would never dream of doing. Sometimes you'll even see me doing cardio past 10 a.m., which is crazy. Whoa. I never do that. But hey, if it's a day where it takes me longer to wake up or whatever, got to get done.
Yeah, no, I can vouch for that. You've been working hard this whole year. You've been training this whole time, doing one-on-one sessions, 4 or 5 days a week. You've been really pushing hard. So
yeah. So just to clarify what Adam said, I'm not training people. I'm being trained.
Yes.
Because I don't want people hitting me up for training sessions. I don't do that. So thank goodness for Sam Catlin. She has been an awesome trainer, making sure I'm staying accountable 5 days a week. So yeah, that's a big help because sometimes I will have a second guess in my mind, I just don't feel like it today. And she makes sure I do not slack. So we all have those days, believe me. And I've mentioned it before. I think one of my flaws is training alone. I don't put as much effort in. And I think that's the same for a lot of people, but I think extra for me because I've always been so spoiled. I've always had a coach to kind of push me and tell me exactly what to do. So, I've done gymnastics before, obviously had a coach, track coach. So I've been spoiled in that sense. So I'm not the best with my intensity if I work out alone, but having Sam really pushes me and makes sure I'm doing everything I need to do, whether I feel like it or not. And you too, you've been training with me once a week, which has been super helpful, and making sure I get in my extra credit lifts. So it's all been good.
Yeah. I like this. We're doing this thing called Olympia Thursdays. So we just do everything Olympia in the gym and we train and go over everything. And then we check in on Mondays. So we're doing a lot of stuff in there. This is fun.
I love Olympia Thursdays. It's motivating for me too. We talk about all the Olympia stuffs. So this is a great question for you to answer, Adam. How do you train on peak week?
Yeah. So this is person by person, but for Ashley this year, so we've done circuits before. We do like total body pumps, you know, we're trying to get carbs in the muscle and whatnot. But Ashley's lifted at such a high volume and such a high intensity this year that your recovery, because of that, it's your recovery ability also increases. You get better at recovering. So you're going to have probably very little adjustments in terms of your workouts during the week besides the intensity. So instead of doing like circuits like we did before, we're probably just going to keep the same workout, but then just a little bit lower intensity, lower cardio. We're not going to let your body fully get inflamed, and then maybe take Thursday and Friday off before the show entirely to let your body fully recover and lose any inflammation that you might have. Maybe just the Friday, maybe Thursday and Friday, who knows? But we'll just see how it goes when it comes to that time and how you're looking and how much water you're holding and whatnot. Because we also have to take into account there's a lot that goes on during the Olympia. The Thursday meet and greet the athletes, you're on your feet for hours. There's just, Olympia is such a different thing. There's so many variables to take into account. So that'll be the biggest difference. Will be the intensity will be down, the cardio will be down, more rest and recovery, potentially no workout on Thursday and Friday, but potentially a workout on Thursday and like a pump on Friday. Who knows? So something like that.
What are your current favorite protein sources this close to the O? So I'm a picky eater. I don't really stray away from my protein sources, whether I'm prepping or not. I like my muscle egg, still have my muscle egg in there. My daily protein bar, still have that in there. I love protein powder. I love chicken. That's basically all my sources right now. But I don't like turkey. I don't really like steak that much or beef. I'm picky.
You're pretty simple.
And the only time I can even eat eggs is like the flavored muscle eggs, like the dessert flavored. Like I don't like savory eggs. It's gross.
Yeah. It's so funny because you love muscle eggs and then regular eggs, you're like, oh, no, I don't like eggs.
Exactly. They have to taste like a dessert. So, but we'll cut that out probably the week of the show, and it'll probably be just more so just like chicken. But we'll see. How do you manage being confident while going into show while having realistic expectations? Honestly, I'm grateful for everything I've done so far and how far it's gotten me. And so I feel like, I've proved myself. Everything else is now icing on the cake. So I have to go in with that mindset. But also, and I know this sounds bad to say, and it's not entirely true, but I have to say it to myself, because if I don't, I'm going to freak myself out. I have to almost remind myself, it's not that serious. Just have fun. It's not that serious. Because truth be told, the Olympia is very serious. Yeah. It's a lot of pressure. But I have to convince myself, hey, this is fun. At the end of the day, my life is going to be awesome the next day and everything else that follows. So try not to get so worked up in my head about it. So I'm almost lying to myself, but I would say any other show I would say it's not that serious, but Olympia is pretty serious.
Yeah.
How is this Olympia prep same or different than last year? That's a good one for you to answer, Adam.
Yeah. You know what? It's tough. I was really happy with how the last 2 years, I've been really happy with how you've come to the show. What I'll say is I think it's more predictable. I think that's the case. I think it's more predictable with how you're going to respond. So it's visually seeing it. It's easier for me. I'm more confident in it. I know the athlete will never be. The athlete will never be in that same position as me. But seeing where she's at, even a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I was like, oh, she's going to be fine. Like, I'm not worried about it, So for me, that part of it, the anxiousness is gone because I'm like, she's going to be fine. I know you're never going to be in that same boat, but I can visually see it. When I start seeing like the tendons and the little things, the little signs that I'm like, oh, she's already in shape because that's in there. Oh, that's in there already. So this one I guess for me, I've been really confident in it. I know that, and I've seen how you're fuller and everything looks bigger. I guess that would be the difference. But really, in terms of application of what's different? Not much. You know, I mean, you're still eating chicken. You're around the same calorie range. You're still doing, you know, I would say you did a little bit less cardio probably this year. But yeah, not much different.
Morning routine on prep. Great question. I'll summarize it quickly. So I wake up and then I have like an energy drink or coffee and I have a meal, muscle egg usually. And this is before cardio. Fasted cardio, F that. No. Like I said, I'm not a foodie and I don't get hungry as much as most people. But if there is one time I'm hungry, it's definitely the morning. So I'm not going to suffer and and do some sort of fasted cardio because honestly, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. If you want to explain that further.
Yeah. That's the thing is people really buy into and like will let themselves suffer harder for the fasted cardio because they think during nighttime I'm using my glycogen stores, I'm depleted of all my glycogen, and I'm only going to use fat as an easier source of energy. I'll use more fat if I do it fasted than if I'm fed. Well, that doesn't really pan out in the end because it's just you're still burning calories regardless. And your body's a lot more efficient than just going through, 6 hours of sleep and using up all your glycogen storage. You're probably already depleted of glycogen when you're this far in prep anyways. So it doesn't really change things. And then you have to look at, okay, how does it affect performance? If she's doing cardio and she's starving and all she's thinking about is food, which is what I do when I'm there. I'm like, man, I'm hungry. Like when I'm doing my cardio and it affects performance. Well, there's that negative when there's no benefit. So do fasted or fed, whatever you're better with. Some people don't like doing cardio when they're fed. But what I'll say is there's almost no benefit. There's actually pretty much no benefit. And the discomfort and how it affected performance is something that you can quantify. So there you go.
Absolutely. So what have I been doing for cardio? So basically, after I eat my muscle egg, I will walk to Orange Theory, which is about a mile away from my house. And I'll do an Orange Theory class. I try to burn at least 500 calories in that class. And then I'll walk home for another mile. So I'm getting my steps in and I'm doing Orange Theory. So it's great. And luckily the weather has been nice enough to where I can walk back and forth. But that's been nice. Getting those extra steps, just walking there is nice. And it's refreshing in the morning. So after that, I will take a shower and usually get ready to come to here and start my lovely day with my coworkers and train with Sam. How many pounds up from Van Pro stage weight when you started the O Prep? What was it, like 5 or 6 pounds?
Yeah, not much.
5 or 6 pounds from Vancouver Pro. So it was like a 2-month gap in between. So I kept it together. I don't like to go too far off, as you guys know. For me, I don't really have a desire to do that, and it's not that hard for me to stay somewhat close. Going back to me saying I'm one that usually doesn't obsess over food like most, which I think is the biggest deal for some people. Probably the biggest reason why they put on weight afterwards isn't because of their lack of activity. It's more so to do with their influx of calories.
Yeah. I'm really happy with how you explained that. You did a really great job. Yeah.
And like I said, after Van Pro, ask Adam. No cardio. I cold turkey cut off cardio right after Van Pro and just stopped cardio for 2 months.
Yeah, that your body was responding really well to it. Like you weren't rebounding, you were keeping an eye on it. And it's just, you put all that extra effort from cardio into the gym. And I think that it helped.
Absolutely. I was able to focus on the weights more, but there's another reason why I do that. And I know it sounds crazy, but you don't want to become too good at cardio because if you start to adapt to it, then you're going to get into a scenario where you're one of those girls that has to do 2 hours of cardio just to get a stimulus. I don't want that to be me because I can get in shape really fast for it. I want to kind of wean myself off the cardio for a while so that I can use that as a stimulus once I start prepping.
Yeah, no, you have it exactly right. And that's to give you guys an example. If a marathon runner comes to me and they're like, I want to start prep. Well, they're already used to doing, let's say, 2 hours of running a day, 3 hours of running a day when they're ramping up. It's a really hard thing to try to create a stimulus for that person because they're already so used to it. So it's like, it's just really difficult to do that. So yeah, if we can, in the off season or even a mini off season like she had, go from, you're trying to shift everything. You go from high cardio, low calories. We're trying to shift the calories up. We're trying to shift the cardio down. So when you start prep, you're starting from higher calories and lower cardio. And all you need to do is kind of reverse that process and you're good to go there.
Absolutely. And, you know, with that being said, if anybody else wanted to try this, I would say if you're going to just cut off cardio, you really need to make sure your diet's in check. You cannot be like binging and stuff after a show if you're also going to stop cardio, or, you know what I mean? It's a recipe for disaster. So luckily I, you know, kept it in check. So I earned no cardio. So now I'm doing it. And now, you know what, when I started cardio for this prep, it was so hard to get into the flow of it. I just dreaded it. Even when it was at like 1 day a week, I'm like, I just don't want to do cardio. But now I'm in the flow. Now I don't dread it. I'm just like, I got to do it. Just try not to overthink it.
I think that's a pretty typical route of travel for people, right? Like at first it really sucks and then you kind of just get used to it and then it becomes like part of your daily routine. Does that seem like a normal thing for you in prep to like when you start?
Yeah.
It just, I'd say that's pretty common.
It's like that first few weeks, just getting into the new rhythm. But I'm in the rhythm now, so I don't dread it as much. So speaking of cardio, we have another question. How intense has cardio had to get, level duration? So not bad. Right now it's at 5 sessions per week. And I will count a cardio session as either 30 minutes on the step mill or an Orange Theory fitness class. But I try to burn 500 calories when I'm doing my cardio. So whatever cardio I choose, that's what I've been trying to do. I might also do some 10K races as well for a nice little cardio boost. And I do want to clarify one thing, because some people are like, why would you train for a 10K if you're prepping? Won't you like lose muscle? Here, listen, I don't train for a 10K. I literally just don't. And I just show up and run it. Like, it's just, that's my workout. Like, I don't train for it. I just show up and do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think people, when you say you run races like that, like they think I'm like putting in miles every day. Like I'm putting in like 10 miles per day. No, I just show up to the race and I do it.
Yeah.
You know? So it's a workout for me, not necessarily a race. And I only do a few of them during prep. It's not like an every weekend thing.
Yeah, and you do that because it keeps it fun, keeps it different.
Yes.
And then when you sign up for it, it makes you do it. Yeah.
The accountability. Yeah. So it's definitely an intense form of cardio for me. It's like definitely a longer session of cardio. I would count that as 2 cardio sessions. But it's a great way to find a new stimulus too. 10K races are great for that stimulus, and it's fun. It's fun for me, you know? How have you been feeling? Your go-to meals? What are you most excited for? I've been feeling okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I have my days where I'm like, my energy's poop, and then other days where it's okay. It's definitely, like I said, way more stressful than the other shows. It's like what I think about when I wake up throughout the day. The last thing I think about before I go to sleep is the Olympia. It's like, it consumes you. It just consumes every ounce of my brain. It dictates everything I do throughout the day. I can't get it out of my head. But it is what it is. That's why I said it's like a different type of show. It's a lot of pressure, a lot of pressure. And what am I most excited for? What do you think?
The thing is, we're on the same page as we understand how volatile bikini is, you know? So I don't put as much into the result. Do I want you to win? Yeah. I hope I can survive if you win. I don't know if my emotions will just explode out of me and that'd be it. It'd be a great death. But the thing is, any of those top 10 girls, for the most part, especially the top 6, you could pretty much interchange them as first and sixth and whatever, and make a good argument for it in bikini. You'd be like, oh yeah, she was good, but she was a little too lean. Oh, she was good, but she was a little too soft. Or she was good, she's a little too muscular. It's just, if it was so black and white like bodybuilding, it'd be a lot more, it'd be a lot different. It'd be, well, you weren't as big, you weren't as lean, you weren't as symmetrical, so you didn't, so I don't put as much into the result as I do into the total package. Was it a total package that you could be proud of, that you really accomplished, that you nailed it for where you're at? And if you did that, then I'm actually happy with it. I know that sounds corny, but you kind of have to in bikini, especially against these girls that are all so good and they're all so different. If you were all the same, it'd be a little easier to, okay, I can edge her out. But it's like, how do you edge someone out who's built totally different than you, that you can't get leaner or more muscular than, so it's It's just you can't put too much into the result with a bet because you're going against the absolute best in the world, and it could go your way. With the same physique, you could win. With the same physique, you could be, 15th place. It really is that crazy in bikini. So I look at it, okay, did she make progress year over year? Did she show up full and right? Is she not flat? Is she look right? And if she did, then I'm a happy camper. But yeah, winning, yeah, of course. I would love to do that.
How do you prep mentally? Daily prayer, meditation? No. No. I just do it. I don't think I do. I don't know. I don't get in my feels like that. Meditation. I try to meditate once for like 30 seconds and I'm like, I'm bored. I'm bored.
She's not a woo girl.
Yeah, I'm not a woo girl. Yeah, I just do it. I think sometimes you can overthink things. And yeah, so that's the great way to put it. I'm not a woo girl. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should be a woo girl.
We're so built like the same, like that.
I could not picture Adam meditating like here in his office, like like doing some breathe in, breathe out.
I think of this like time already. Like I'm already thinking I could do so much with that.
I just get bored. I'm just like, all right. Same thing. Honestly, it sounds bad. Reading like books and stuff, I'm just like, I'm bored. Give me an audio version, or let me watch it on TV. Like I don't know. Yeah. Like let's be efficient with our time.
I'm the same way. It's so bad.
Yeah. Any changes to your routine this year? Yeah. Subtle little changes. So I still need to keep it within that 45-second mark. But I've been working on my flow a little bit better and some like my arm movements, so they're not as like stiff, I guess. But yeah, nothing too crazy. I might change a transition here and there too, but yeah, I don't like to get too complicated with the routine, like I mentioned. I like to keep it simple. It's better for my eyesight. I have bad eyes. I have double vision 24/7, so I don't want to make myself too dizzy or anything and add all these frills and spins. I'm just going to keep it simple, just work on my flow a little bit more. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure you stay tuned for the next episode of the Road to Olympia series.
Let's do this.